my mother's name was Mary, and my father's name was Jacobeth. And I was born in New York City in 1926. And when I was about age of 5, we went through the Depression, which was very sad. My mother was expecting and she lost her child. And then my dad got very despondent and started drinking because he lost his job and he couldn't get help because he wasn't a citizen. So, and then at about the age of 7, he started to work, and it was about Christmas time, and he bought a new bedroom set for us for Christmas, and we decorated a tree and everything. It was Christmas Eve, and he went to work. And then it was midnight, and he got his paycheck, and he left his job, and he disappeared. So that was a real sad Christmas for me, because the police came in and never found his body for 7 years. So he was declared dead. But I survived that and looked to Happy Christmas. My mother always took me to church on Christmas, and we went to a church where there was 3 religions in that church. There was the Hebrew and Arabic, Muslims, and we were the Christians, Seventh-day Adventists. And we would all meet on Christmas holiday, and we would all share. They would share Hanukkah with us, and the Arabic would celebrate their Eid with us, and we would celebrate our Christmas with us. So we were all united, and we had great times together. We shared foods together and goodies, and it was a great time. So I learned how to be integrated with all different nationalities. And then about the age of 17, I got married to a man who was born in Indonesia, Sumatra. So, so we celebrated, you know, and so when I had my Christmas, because my oldest daughter is married to a Jewish descent, and my youngest is married to a Greek descent, and my son is married to a Hungarian Russian. So you would see, so when I prepare meals, I would prepare for Christmas meals all the different kinds of foods that we ate, and we all celebrated and have, and our children, grandchildren come and sit down and open toys and laugh, you know, and so I really loved having those times with my family. Enjoyed them. And then we had our neighbors come in for Christmas, and they would come, and our friends. We were real close. We were about 7 couples that we were real close, and they would come and spend some time of their Christmas with us, and we would go and spend with them. And we traveled together, and we had great times together. We went to South America together, and the Caribbean cruise together. And then we went on the Delta Queen up to Sacramento and San Francisco, you know, and we just had great times together. We spent the holidays. So the best time of the year for me is December, because all these 3 holidays are all in about the same time. So I really enjoyed to having it. I got from New York to Reno. I came to California at the age of 21 because I suffer from asthma, and I was very sick. My son was only 4 years old, and I lived in a 5th floor apartment, which I had to walk up and down, and I couldn't get up out of bed. Out of the week, I just barely got up to do my chores and things. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor had told me I only had 6 months to live. So I better go to Arizona, or a drier climate might help me. And so I came home from the doctor, and I told my husband, and he was kind of sad about it because he had a real good job and didn't want to leave his job. So I told him, I said, well, you have to make your choice. Either you make good money, but you're spending it all on the doctor. So what do you think is best? So I said, you have your choice, I'm just telling you. So he went to a party that evening. He says, can I go to a party? I says, yeah, you can go. We belonged to the American Legion Club, and he went and he met his friend. And his friend was talking to him, and he was telling him that he had some executive had gave him a job to deliver a Cadillac for him. And he needed somebody to help him drive the Cadillac to California, and if he would like to go. So he told him, well, today is Saturday night, and you can let me know by in the morning, because I leave about 10 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning. So my husband came home and he asked me if I wanted to go to California. So we got up Monday morning and took some money out of the bank and took a few clothes with us, left our apartment, and we made the trip to California. So then we went through the South, in through Texas, to New Mexico and Arizona. And he said, you like Arizona? I said, no, I do not like Arizona. And then he says, well, how about if we go to San Francisco? I have a lot of friends in San Francisco. And I says, no, it's too foggy, it's too damp there. So then we went to San Diego. And then he says, do you like San Diego? And I says, no, I don't think so. And then he says, well, how about LA? And when we got to LA, he says, how do you like it here? I says, this is the place. And we had no place to stay. And then another friend had gone with us on this trip. And he says, well, I have a relative that has a rooming house in downtown LA. He says, you can stay there until you find a place to live. So I went there, and the man says, well, it's so much a week, and it's community bathroom and community kitchen. And I said, I don't really like it too well. I says, but that's okay, I'll go for it. And then that night, when we went to bed, we were bitten by bed bugs. So I got up in the morning, I said, oh my God, I said, we're bitten by bed bugs. So I went out and got this spray at that time. I don't know if they have it now. It's called Flit. And I got to spray it and sprayed the whole bed and everything else. And I says to my husband, you got to find a place, a house or something, but you have to find something better than this. So he went out with his friend, and his friend said, well, he was looking for a house too. And then my husband saw a house which he liked, but he didn't have enough money to pay the down payment. So anyway, he told his friend, would you lend me the money to get the down payment? And his friend told him no. So anyway, they kept looking, and they found a duplex. So they decided to buy the duplex together in a partnership. Well, anyway, in the partnership, my husband came to me and asked me about it, and I said, I do not agree about partnerships because my uncle is in a partnership and it don't work out that good. So he says, well, anyway, I says, well, it's your choice. Go ahead, I will try. So I went into a partnership, and this man that my husband was his friend with, he had left his wife in New York, so he sent for her about a month later. And she came to LA, and she did not like LA. And then he couldn't keep a job. So anyway, and then my husband, even with references that he had from his previous job, could not get work. So anyway, he started working about 9 months after we got to LA. And at the Knickerbocker Hotel in Hollywood and Vine there. And but he worked from 4 midnight to to 12 midnight. And then I got a job before he did, about 3 months later after I got there. I got a job about 2 blocks away from my house. And the funny part about it is I was looking for a job all over, and I tried to save 10 cents not to take the trolley to downtown. So I walked back. I was so tired. It was a hot day. And I stopped by, close by to my house. I got off the trolley. And I saw this sign in the store thing, you know, it was all shaded. And I went in and I said to him, I see you have a sign that you need somebody to work here. And he says, I don't need anybody here. He says, go away. He says, he was mad. And the tears just came down my eyes, and I walked down about half a block, and I felt this tap on my shoulder. And he says to me, come in tomorrow. You can come in to work tomorrow. And I did go. And he hired me, and I worked for them for about 10 years, you know. So then, in the meantime, my husband's friend's wife wanted to sell the house. So she approached us, you know, and she says to me, Gracie, I do not like it here. I want to go back to New York City. I says, yeah, that's fine. I says, do you have money to buy our share? Well, she had raised the price on her share she wanted. I said, well, we do not. My husband just barely started working. I cannot afford. Well, she got mad at me and said she wouldn't sell the house to me. So he put the house for sale exclusively with one real estate. But yet he went to other real estates and put it up for sale with them too. So the real estate man got kind of mad at him, and he came to see me, and he says, Gracie, he says, would you like to have the house? I says, yes, but we do not have the money. I says, we only have this much that we can give you. He says, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will lend you the money. I will offer them a price for it. And I will lend you the balance of the money that you need. He says, but you have to get somebody that you know real well to buy the house, and then they can transfer it to you. So that's what we did. So we got the house. And then we rented it out one side, and that helped to make our monthly payments. And we struggled for 10 years, both of us working together, and we paid the house, fully paid. So then I had another child. So the house, you know, duplex was only 1 bedroom, so it was kind of small. So we decided we would buy another house. And so we did buy another house in San Fernando Valley. And it's called Arleta. And we put a down payment on it and everything else. And then we kept the house, the duplex, we kept it for a year, but then we got tired because we'd have to travel when, you know, plumbing went wrong or something went wrong. We'd have to rush down and take care of it, or the neighbors weren't getting along, you know. So we kept it for a year, and we put it up for sale. And then the next door, they had another duplex, so they wanted to buy the duplex, so they made us an offer, and we sold it to them. And they gave us a big down payment, and then within a year's time, they paid off the whole loan. And so we took it all, and we paid off our house, our second house. And we lived there in that house 20 years. And then we had my youngest daughter was born in that house. We had a 3-bedroom house, 2 baths, a huge den. We put a flagstone fireplace in the den. We had a pool table. We had a huge swimming pool, which we paid for. Everything we paid for, you know, cash money. We worked, you know, to save, you know. And it was fine. We were there 20 years, and then my husband retired. And he went traveling to Indonesia by himself the first time. And then he says, I like to travel. He says, why don't we sell the house? So we sold the house and we made a good profit on it. And then we moved to an apartment so we could travel. And we stayed in the apartment about 4 years. But you know, in an apartment you're restricted. You got to barbecue in a certain place. You got to do your washing at a certain time, and this and that. And then we didn't feel at home like we were at liberty to do the things we wanted. So we met a friend, and then he says, that lived across the street from this house that we sold. And he says, he got divorced from his wife, he says, and I travel a lot, he says, and we like somebody to watch his house because he had been broken into. So and then my husband said yes, and I didn't agree too much with it, but I went along with it, and we signed for a year at least. And yeah, my husband was supposed to, gave us cheap rent, and my husband was supposed to take care of his swimming pool and take care of the lawn, you know, and keep the house nice and clean, and I kept it nice and clean, you know. And once in a while, when we'd have dinner, I'd cook dinner for all of us. And that lasted for a year, so then we decided, no, that isn't going to work. So we bought another home in Lake LA. Well, Lake LA was projected to be a great thing, which did not turn out to be a great thing. So anyway, we moved in, brand new home. We moved in, and we paid cash for it. And we lasted 5 years there. But I tell you, when we had those sandstorms, I'd clean the house, and we had those sandstorms, forget it, everything was dusty, and we had 9/10 of an acre, and the tumbleweeds, and everything, and it was just fun. And then my daughter gave me for my birthday an old English sheepdog, 8 weeks old. He was a darling little fluffy little thing, you know. And we enjoyed it, you know, and everything else. But the neighborhood went so down, and we were lucky. We got a lot where we had a sidewalk. A lot of the places didn't have sidewalks, and they still don't have sidewalks without so many 30 years of. So anyway, we decided then that people were foreclosing most of the houses, and it was getting down, and people were losing their money, and we were lucky. We made money on our house. We put it up for sale within a week. This lady fell in love because I won first prize for the best landscaping and best inside of the houses plan, you know, the way I fixed it up. I crocheted my kitchen curtains, which took me 3 months to crochet them. My bathroom, I crocheted my curtains, just beautiful, you know, and I decorated it so beautiful, you know. People say, are you interior decorators? I said, no, it's just our taste that we like that way, you know. And this lady, she just fell in love. She says, I'll buy the house, but only on the condition that you leave the curtains there. So she sold, and went through fine. And then we bought a house in Sun City, California. And it was a 3-bedroom, a 2-bedroom and 2 baths, you know, with a lanai and a patio. And that was almost an acre big. It was, they had let the grass die and everything else, so they had a sprinkler system, and we bought it, and we loved it. We had a huge pantry room, and I had my sewing machine in there, my washing machine, and just beautiful. A huge 2-car garage. We could put a pool table in there. We put our pool table in there. And we enjoyed, we had our parties and my guests, you know, and the den we used as a big dining room because I did a lot of entertainment. And people from abroad used to come over and visit with us, and we'd take them places and all. And we landscaped that place. We put gravel in the whole backyard, and I just figured out what I wanted to do with it. I had flamingos and pampas grass, two patches on either side, and then the flamingos sticking out from the sides, you know. And we really enjoyed that house. But then my husband got dementia, and it was going down, his sickness, and then, you know, and then I wasn't feeling, because of my asthma started, because I was under so much stress taking care of him and this and that. So my young daughter that lives here, says, Mom, she says, I cannot be coming down to California. It's quite a bit, and my kids are small. Why don't you move up here? So we decided, we sold the house there, and we came up on an Easter vacation, and she invited us for Easter, and we spent a week looking for houses around. So then we bought lifestyle homes up in Sun Valley, and we bought a 3-bedroom, the smaller plan. We bought that, but they didn't have no landscaping or anything on it. But it was a nice home. We fixed it beautifully, decorated it real nice. And we were allowed to go to the quarry and collect rocks to do our landscaping. We did our landscaping, my daughter and I did our landscaping ourselves, and my husband helped whatever he could do little. And we would go every week to the quarry and get rocks, and just planned it so beautifully, and it was just beautifully. And in the backyard, I did the same thing. I had big buckets, about 5 rows along the wall. I had a big backyard too, and I had rose bushes and calla lilies, and on the slope down I had English ivy, and then I planted ground covered, you know, with flowers in it, and it was just beautiful. So then my husband got real sick, real demented, and he lost his mind, and he did real bad things to me. He almost tried to kill me. So, and I had to run out of the house for my life. And some of the neighbors have helped me out. In fact, I got a letter today from one of my neighbors. She helped me out so much. She took me into her home, because my daughter at that time was in San Francisco. And she called my daughter in San Francisco and told her the situation. So my daughter came back, and she helped me a lot. So, and then the court decided that he was unsafe, so he was put into a care home. And he's been in the care home now for 5 years. And I kept the house by myself for a year, but I just couldn't keep it up because it needs a man's touch. You know, there's things that I couldn't do, you know. And the neighbors were real nice when it snowed and everything. They would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and come and shovel my snow from the driveway and clear it up for me, you know, if I needed anything from the store. They were really, really nice to me. So, and then I sold the home because I landed in the hospital. I almost died again, but I revived. I was on oxygen when I came here 3 years and a half ago. I was on oxygen 24 hours a day. And now I don't use oxygen during the day, but I do have to use it at night. I've lost 52 pounds, and my blood pressure has been normal for a year. And I'm very active. I've always been active, but I had to force myself. Now I'm very active, and I love to converse with people and try to help people, because I know a lot of people have come my way that didn't know me and have helped me, and I thank God for that.